Hilary Duff had quite a reign in her heyday. TV shows, movies, McDonald's toys, music. In the early 2000s, she was as inescapable as baby fat. At the onset of her career in 2001, she was already one of the most profitable names off Disney Channel. Her TV success translated well to box office successes, but I'm not going to focus on the numbers or stats, rather how her status as a teen idol affected her filmography and the characters she played during that period. Hilary Duff's celebrity was likened to that of Annette Funicello's in the 1960s, as both actresses were Disney darlings with a large teen fan base that catapulted them to worldwide recognition. In the case of Duff, her stardom came quite suddenly. Lizzie McGuire premiered on Disney Channel, Zoog Disney if you will, in January of 2001. By March, Hilary Duff's starring role in the DCOM Cadet Kelly made it the most viewed program on the network in 19 years. Lizzie McGuire was raking in over 2 million views per episode. Before anyone knew it, there were Lizzie McGuire games, Lizzie McGuire Happy Meal toys, Lizzie McGuire dolls? Okay. And Hilary was cemented as a teen idol before her 14th birthday. The character of Lizzie McGuire was honest, caring, innocent, and a kind-hearted preteen. She knew right from wrong, she stood up for her friends, she cared about and respected her family, except Matt, fuck Matt, and she was an all-around good person. There's that one episode where she gets a nose ring and is like,
"Take a chill pill, parents, it's just a temp."
But she's back to normal by the end, so it doesn't really count. In the media, Hilary Duff is pretty much viewed the same way, a good girl and an ideal role model for kids around the world. How the public perceived Lizzie McGuire and how they perceived Hilary Duff were identical, and I believe this perception had quite the impact on Duff's movies from 2001 all the way up until 2006. So what we're going to do is look at these films as they are, just plots, just characters, and circle back to the rest later. Following a 13-year-old hippie in the making, this story centers around Kelly, whose bohemian way of life gets interrupted when she transfers to military school at the behest of Gary Cole. When she gets there, she's almost immediately antagonized by Ren Stevens.
Well, now that you ask, my watch only has 12 hours on it.
You get dumber by the minute, don't you?
And struggles to find her footing in such a strict place. After her rivalry with Ren leads her to being sentenced, this is the word they use, I am not kidding, to the drill team, she soon learns to appreciate the school and finds beauty, even art, in their routines. Kelly is respectful, confident, kind, has a great relationship with her parents, and embraces her new stepfather completely. When she finds out she has to move, she's upset, as any kid would be, but ultimately she decides that it's important to make the transition easy for her mother, which is, I don't know, it's real sweet.
First lesson, zip it and listen. 2 things I have never mastered.
We love a self-aware queen. All in all, this isn't a bad movie. It's certainly cheesy and made for children, I should know. I was one of them. But honestly, it's not abundant with moments that reduce the characters to tropes, nor is it a movie so severely unfunny or tone-deaf that I can't get through it. Everything in this story comes full circle. Kelly has an arc, Ren has an arc, even Gary Cole has an arc. I can honestly say that I don't have any huge problems with it, which is a hell of a lot more than I can say for some of what's coming up next. The Lizzie McGuire movie is an extension of the Lizzie television universe, following the same characters from the show on a bigger, bolder adventure. The adventure in question is a school trip to Rome that changes when Lizzie meets a snake called Paolo. She discovers that there's an Italian pop star named Isabella who looks exactly like her, but more emo. Paolo, who Isabella has recently dumped, convinces Lizzie to take the stage with him and pretend to be Isabella, while the real Isabella is off somewhere sunbathing where there's no internet, paparazzi, or people. Lizzie frequently sneaks away from her chaperone to do Italian pop star things and slowly falls for a snake. Eventually, the real Isabella returns and Gordo's like, "Lizzie, it's a snake." Isabella and Lizzie take the stage together. This happens. And Lizzie realizes she has feelings for her best friend, who's not really her best friend because Lelaine was busy filming You Wish, but whatever, we'll let the short king have this one. They fall in love as much as 2 middle school graduates can, and the movie ends happily ever after. Lizzie is still Lizzie. This is one of the many interpretations of one of the many Cinderella stories as made clear in the spot-on title. It's a modern-day take on the tale with Prince Charming being Austin Ames and Cinderella being Sam. They meet in a Princeton chat room, they become pen pals and chat on the regular, but they still don't know exactly who the other person is, only that they attend the same school. Sam's evil stepmother is Jennifer Coolidge, and that's just perfect. Fiona runs the diner left to her after Sam's father passes away without leaving a will, and Fiona and her daughters treat Sam like, well, Cinderella. When a Halloween homecoming dance comes up, Austin and Sam agree to meet there in real life. They meet, Sam has half a mask on, but it's enough apparently for Austin to have no idea who she is later. They have a magical night together until the clock strikes midnight. Until the cell phone alarm goes off. After finding out Prince Charming is Austin Ames, the most popular guy in school, Sam doesn't want to reveal her true identity, but she eventually gets found out. Austin dips out on her like a little bitch, and she confronts him in the locker room. They get together. It's found out that Sam's dad did leave a will, and everything went to Sam. Sam goes to college, takes back ownership of the diner, and lives happily ever after. In this movie, Sam is hardworking, honest, kind, innocent, and caring. Sounds kind of familiar. Next. Terry is Hilary Duff, but blonder. She is also, according to her brother Paul, the best and most talented singer he's ever heard. From this, we can deduce that Paul has not heard a lot of music. Terry wants to go to this music thing in LA.
Come on, it's not just some music thing in LA. It's Bristol Hillman Music Conservatory. Only the best summer music program on the West Coast. Maybe even in the whole country.
Okay, whatever. It still sounds like some music thing in LA. But her overprotective father, Matt Murdock's dead dad, doesn't want her going out there because he doesn't want anything bad to happen to her. Paul fights with his dad about this very minor thing. He tries to burn his face off, gets grounded. Paul and Terry sneak out to go enjoy Paul's graduation gift, which is
3 days grace?
On the way back from the concert, Paul dies in a car accident, set to 3 days grace, and the family mourns for 2 scenes before Terry gets word that she has gotten into that music thing in LA. She and her mom and her aunt decide that they need to get her there no matter what her dad thinks. After all, life is too short, which Paul proved the night he saw 3 days grace. No correlation. Terry goes to LA, meets #cool John Corbett, her talented roommate Denise, Amanda Bynes' boyfriend from What a Girl Wants, and my girlfriend Kat Dennings. She slowly learns to love singing again, falls in love, and, well, yeah, I think you can figure the rest out. This movie starts with a quote from Beethoven, then segues into a high school choir singing Joy to the World, so we're already off to a bit of a rough start. This video wouldn't have gotten anyone into any music school anywhere, let alone some music thing in LA. It's not even about the singing itself as much as it is that she never sings a song to completion since it's a bunch of clips cut together, so she could easily be cutting together her best moments and omitting all the notes that she doesn't hit.
Terry, you got the best voice I've ever heard.
People in this movie keep lying for no fucking reason. A montage of sadness, I guess? I know we have to make time for the real meat of the story, which is Terry going to some music thing in LA, but honestly, it would have been interesting to at least see a little of the family navigating each other and their grief after such a tragedy. I'm not looking for ordinary people per se, just give me more.
La 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 la
This isn't a case of Drew Seeley, Zac Efron, where the voices are combined at some point, so it seems almost seamless. Almost. This is a totally different voice, and it's distracting as hell. I like Hilary Duff, but she isn't the strongest singer, so why didn't they just give this part to someone who could actually hit those notes? Like, I don't know, Kelly Clarkson? Oh, wait, they already tried that.
What about that?
My music became like a religion. It kept me sane.
So music is your higher power.
That's literally what he just said. Why are you repeating it?
Well, count your blessings, because I know his game. He likes to hit on nice girls. And baby, you got a lock on that one. What? I mean, look at you. Look at your hair, your clothes, the way you talk. You're like some kind of retro Brady Buncher.
Shoot, I'm not even trying to hear that.
Let me unpack this real quick. So Denise says that Jay's game is that he likes to hit on nice girls, as in goody two-shoe girls who are innocent, etc. She enunciates on this by comparing Terry to the Brady Bunch, wholesome and naive. Terry's response to that is not to say something along the lines of, hey, I'm not that innocent, my dad doesn't even know that I'm living here. It is instead to take on this voice and say,
shoot, I'm not even trying to hear that.
Okay.
Denise is very talented. Terry is not. Why are they both in this school?
Me, can't you see how our hearts are one?
Thanks, I hate it. Everyone in this school except maybe Denise and Kiwi are doing things that are basic as hell.
It's just my lyrics. They're really lame.
Well, at least he knows it. There's a lot of montages because this story wants to progress fast, but it also wants to include a bunch of things that aren't all that important. As a result, the actual important things are forced into these 30-second montages when those are inarguably the most interesting parts of the story. Because the movie wastes its time with scenes like these and contrived conflicts like these, it feels really sprawling and unfocused and annoying.
Okay, but there are much better singers here, Mr. Torvald.
Has she known this the whole time? Why is she still here? Robin's only character trait is being a spoiled, competitive daddy's girl.
Worst things have happened, right?
Yeah, all the time. Just not to me. I always get my way.
Terry has sparkly human syndrome, which is something similar to what Bella Swan has. It's when a plain person with no distinctive personality or likable character traits is beloved by almost everyone for no real apparent reason. The only reason people like her so much and flock to her as they do is because she's the main character and people are supposed to like her.
You don't think Terry's special?
No, Paul, I don't. Hilary is joined by Heather Locklear in this hodgepodge of familial manipulation and sadness. Heather is Jean, a mom who's more interested in finding the right man than ensuring some form of stability for her children. Every time her relationship fails, she moves away, and frankly, her kids are getting fucking tired of it. Hilary is Holly, Jean's daughter. She has a blog called Girl on the Move where she vents out her frustrations. Holly, decides to catfish Heather Locklear by creating the perfect man who is secretly Mr. Big, who is infamously a gaping asshole. Her plan works for a while. Her mom falls for a man she's never seen or spoken to. It's kind of weird. Holly almost gets found out, comes clean, and her mom decides not to move happily ever after. Holly is kind, innocent, quirky, and ultimately honest as she's the one who decides to come clean in the first place. Wait a second. They can't afford this apartment.
Patsy Clines are sad music, huh? Wait a minute. Now, this is very happy music.
So he figured out she listens to Patsy Cline when she's sad and decided that this sound here would make her happy.
Your uncle does crossword puzzles in pen. His kitchen it's perfect. You know, even though he didn't say it out loud, I know that he knows that the moon isn't just a rock. There is such a thing as the perfect man. And I know exactly who it is from my mom. Who? Your Uncle Ben.
I'm confused. Isn't he engaged? Did I miss something? I missed something, didn't I?
You know what, you guys? I'm looking for the Silverman wedding. I thought you were the one marrying Amber.
Me?
Lance said...
No. Amber's one of my dearest friends. I'm catering her wedding.
So Ben and Amber aren't getting married, but Holly didn't know that when she said this. Also, she's insane. Her plan is to break apart a wedding because she thinks her mom is Ben's soulmate. And what an inane thing to think. Oh, this guy does crossword puzzles in pen. My mom does crossword puzzles in pen. They're perfect together. I should break up a wedding between two people who might just be madly in love with each other because these two people over here do crossword puzzles in pen. Jean has an arc, but Holly doesn't, which is strange because I think she's the main character, but this movie is so much of a mess that I honestly can't tell. Or maybe Holly's arc is that she starts off not wanting to be like her mom and staunchly isn't like her mom for like 90% of the movie, but then she decides to be like her mom for like 6% of the movie and then decides not to be like her mom for the last 4%. In that case, yes, she has an arc, but it's shit. At last, Holly properly sets up Ben and Jean, but Jean isn't rushing into another relationship, which is the smartest thing she's done the entire movie. Also, it's good they don't end up together because...
Pick you up Saturday at 8.
Perfect.
Oh. Never mind. Let me tell you, I rewatched all of these, and this one, is the only one that I was absolutely dreading. So this movie's about these two socialite sisters whose wealth comes from their father's line of cosmetology products. Their father, who passed away long before the movie begins, left them the business, but they're totally incompetent, kind of like the movie they're in. Their business comes crashing down when it's revealed that their products are causing horrible skin damage, and so their stock takes a swan dive, they end up losing their money and their house, and they have to crawl back into good graces, learn how to take responsibility, and take care of their father's business the way he would have wanted it. This whole thing started simple enough. The original idea was that I was going to rewatch all of Hilary Duff's most notable films at the height of teen idoldom, not a word, specifically for the films wherein she was the main character, so no Cheaper by the Dozen or Agent Cody Banks. I was going to rank them pre-rewatch as I remembered them being, and then view them again and see if anything about my opinion had changed. But by my third viewing, I was kind of exhausted. In the midst of noting first-hand thoughts, I realized that I had stopped referring to any character by their name and started calling them Lizzie McGuire. And that ended up being the thing that bothered me the most. Don't get me wrong, Material Girls is a hot mess that history has kindly forgotten, and I should probably be condemned for even bringing it up now, but its problems don't start and end with a bad screenplay. Throughout each of these movies, even Cadet Kelly, which ended up topping my list from best to worst, I know. I didn't expect that either. Each Hilary Duff character is synonymous with all the others. I've watched The Perfect Man twice now, 3 times if you're counting when I was a child, and I still struggle to remember that the name of Hilary Duff's character is Holly. I can't even remember her name from Material Girls. See, I would have never guessed that. Part of the reason is that all these characters are interchangeable with another. You could exchange Terry for Holly and nothing would change. You could exchange Sam for Lizzie and nothing would change. You could exchange this one for Kelly and nothing would change. I think watching the films back to back, this turned out to be the hardest thing to get through because every film ended up becoming one, and it felt like I was watching one long ass movie following one character trying out different lives and trying to see which one it wants to settle into. Going back to that sparkly human syndrome thing, at first I thought nothing of it, but then I realized that this was likely just the role that Hilary Duff was typecasted into. She was the it girl of the 2000s, and so her characters didn't have to have much in way of a personality because the actress playing them was cute and blonde and popular, and that was enough. What would be the point of casting one of the most bankable teen stars in your movie if she was just going to be different from what her fan base knew her as? They were paying to see Lizzie McGuire or Hilary Duff or both, so why give them anyone other than that? In a 2003 article by Richard Huff, written and published just before the premiere of the long-awaited Lizzie McGuire movie, Huff stated, "Being on a hit series has created a dual world for Duff. Her public image is tied to the character of Lizzie." You could say the same was the case for other teen stars, and many of them did and do have difficulty transitioning into more serious roles. But I think Hilary's situation was unique. The full Richard Huff quote is, "Being in a hit series has created a dual world for Duff. Her public image is tied to the character of Lizzie in a way that, say, teenagers Mary-Kate and Ashley have avoided." Mary-Kate and Ashley were like the child stars to end child stars. They were superstars. But unlike with Hilary, it wasn't one single role that catapulted them to where they were. Sure, everyone loves Michelle, but Michelle wasn't a twin. They wanted the package deal, not Mary-Kate or Ashley. And throughout all the films and TV shows the Olsen twins starred in, it wasn't their characters that stood at the forefront. You think people were standing Riley and Chloe the way they stand Lizzie McGuire? The same goes for someone like Lindsay Lohan, Hilary Duff's rival in the 2000s because of Aaron Carter. Jesus, have times changed. Lindsay Lohan was a child star and a teen idol, but her roles in films like Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, Freaky Friday, Get a Clue, or Mean Girls were vastly different from the other. They're all teenagers, but I can't quite imagine Lola from Teenage Drama Queen getting along well with Anna from Freaky Friday, because Anna has no chill and probably needs anger management. Lindsay didn't have this problem because, once again, she never had a role that was so extensively tied to her celebrity that it was impossible to differentiate the two. The massive and unexpected popularity of Lizzie McGuire gave Hilary Duff her first record deal. Her first album, Metamorphosis, went #1, and one of the tracks, this one, became the theme song for both Laguna Beach and My Sad Hours, where I look out the window and lip sync dramatically. It got her movie deals, it helped start her fashion line, and eventually her young adult trilogy, which Okay. And you have to remember that, apart from roles in movies like Wendy and Casper and minor characters in TV shows, Lizzie McGuire was her first big role. It was the world's first introduction to her, and for a long time, it was the only way people saw her.
Lots of people know me as characters and stuff that I've played on TV, and it's really personal, and it's a good way for everybody to get to know more about Hilary.
After her teen idoldom died down, her fans growing up and mostly growing out of their dedication to her, she was able to take on roles that she couldn't before. Her first child star, image-shedding one, was with War Inc. In this movie, she plays a Russian pop star named Yannicka Babyia, so great. She has this song that she sings to John Cusack called I Want to Blow You Up. After that, she produced and starred in According to Greta, a somewhat dark comedy coming-of-age story about a girl who carries a notebook full of elaborate ways to die. This movie's nowhere near perfect, but Hilary Duff proved with it that her acting went beyond playing the same character over and over and over again. One reviewer for the film called her wanting to shed her child image kind of off-putting, and I don't know, man. I too jumped for the role of a violent killer if I had to play the same character for 6 years. When she started a recurring role on the show Younger, she said that it was a relief to be able to play someone who's flawed and messy, unlike the role she played when she was younger. Looking at her career now, it's hard not to look at her older movies with more of a critical eye. Sure, I love A Cinderella Story, I grew up on that shit, but I would have loved it more if Sam was different from Terry or Holly or Lizzie or this one. And I'm glad that Hilary Duff has been able to find that in recent years, even with the more questionable ones. Sure, we have that Lizzie McGuire reboot, but it's a different time. Hilary is a different person, and I'm sure Lizzie will be too, seeing as Terry Minsky has dipped the fuck out. I'm not saying the show will be bad, just that Terry Minsky kind of made the whole thing work the way... It'll be fine, probably, whatever. With that said, I'll leave you with a quote from one of Hilary Duff's many musical masterpieces. If the light is off, then it isn't on.
Patsy Cline's are sad music, huh? Wait a minute. Now, this is very happy music.
Never drill, never stop.